The meeting room on the space station felt too cold. Captain James Walker of the Earth Defense Force noticed how the alien representatives kept adjusting their environmental suits. To him, the temperature was just a bit chilly, but he could see frost forming on the aliens' breathing masks. "Your species continues to surprise us, Captain Walker," said the lead alien diplomat. Its voice came through a translator, sounding metallic and flat. "You stand here in simple cloth while we require full environmental protection." Walker smiled politely. He wore his formal military uniform, complete with the silver Earth Defense Force pin on his chest. Across the table, 5 alien representatives sat in sealed suits that looked like they belonged in deep space. Their large, dark eyes watched his every move. "We humans are quite adaptable," Walker said. He tried to keep his voice friendly. This was humanity's first official meeting with the Dominion, and he didn't want to mess it up. "Our bodies can handle a wide range of conditions." The alien diplomat's translator crackled. "Yes, we've noticed. Your ship's environmental readings would kill most of our crew instantly. The heat, the pressure, the radiation levels, all of it seems impossible." Walker started to respond, but a loud crack interrupted him. Above their heads, one of the station's old support beams gave way. Before anyone could react, a huge metal beam crashed down toward the meeting table. Walker moved without thinking. He pushed 2 of the alien representatives out of the way, but couldn't dodge in time himself. The beam hit him hard, pinning him to the floor. The impact knocked the air from his lungs, and he felt at least 2 ribs crack. The alien scrambled away in panic, but then stopped and stared. Walker gritted his teeth and pushed against the beam. His shoulders burned with effort, but slowly, steadily, he lifted the metal enough to slide out from under it. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead, and every breath hurt. But he stood up. "Is everyone all right?" he asked, wiping blood from his eyes. "We should call maintenance to secure that section of ceiling." The aliens didn't respond. They stared at him with their dark eyes wide in what looked like horror. The lead diplomat's translator stuttered as it spoke. You should be dead," it said. "The impact force, the weight, your internal organs should be crushed. How are you standing?" Walker touched his side, wincing. "I'm hurt pretty bad, but nothing some time in medical won't fix. Humans are tough. We heal quickly." The alien representatives huddled together, speaking rapidly in their own language. Their translator was off, but Walker could tell from their movements that they were agitated. Finally, the lead diplomat turned back to him. "This meeting is over," it said. "We must consult with our council." They hurried out, leaving Walker alone in the cold room with the fallen beam. He sighed and pressed the communicator button on his uniform. "Medical team to meeting room 7, he said, "and get me Admiral Thompson. Something's wrong." The Dominion representatives just ran out like they saw a ghost. As Walker waited for medical help, he didn't know that across the station, the alien representatives were sending urgent messages to their homeworld. Their words carried fear. "The humans are not what we thought. Their bodies can survive forces that would destroy us instantly. They heal from injuries that would mean certain death. And worse, they act like this is normal. What if they decide to expand beyond their world? What if they reach our colonies? Our environmental barriers won't stop them. The Council must know. These humans, they're not just another species. They're something else, something dangerous." In the meeting room, Walker sat down carefully, his ribs aching. He had a bad feeling about how things had ended. Humanity's first official contact with the Dominion was supposed to open new doors for Earth. Instead, he feared he had just shown them something that would change everything. He didn't know it yet, but he was right. The next few days would prove just how much everything was about to change. 3 days after the meeting incident, the Dominion's High Council gathered in their great chamber. The room was kept at near freezing temperatures, just the way they liked it. Frost covered the massive windows that looked out over their capital city's crystal spires. The head counselor stood at the center platform, its environmental suit gleaming under the pale lights. "Show us the human data again," it commanded. A large screen lit up, displaying Captain Walker's medical scans from the accident. The council members shifted uneasily in their seats as they watched the footage of him lifting the beam that should have killed him. "Our scientists have confirmed our worst fears," the head counselor said. "Humans are not just tough. They are an evolutionary impossibility." Another council member spoke up. "Explain." "Their bones can crack, and they keep moving. Their blood can spill, and they continue fighting. Their bodies work in ways that defy our understanding of life itself." The head counselor's translator crackled with stress. "We found records of their military training. They have a saying, 'Pain is weakness leaving the body.'" Horror rippled through the chamber. For the Dominion species, pain was nature's way of preventing injury. The idea of pushing through it was unthinkable. "There's more," a science officer added, stepping forward. "We've analyzed their entertainment videos. They have competitions where they run for days without stopping. They lift weights until their muscles tear, then heal stronger. Some of them climb frozen mountains for fun." The council chamber erupted in fearful whispers. The head counselor raised its arms for silence. "Now you understand why we called this emergency session. The human ship logs show they're already planning expeditions beyond their solar system. Their technology is primitive compared to ours, but their bodies—" It paused, letting the implications sink in. "Their bodies can survive conditions that have kept our borders secure for 10,000 years. On a large map, red dots appeared showing the Dominion's colonies. Between them were vast spaces marked in gray. Zones where no Dominion species could survive. Zones that, according to the new data, humans could walk through with minimal protection. If they expand into the gray zones, they could surround our worlds, build bases in places we can't reach. And if they ever turned hostile." The head counselor didn't need to finish the thought. One council member stood up shakily. "But they seem peaceful. Captain Walker saved our diplomats despite injury to himself. That's what makes them more dangerous," the head counselor replied. "They don't even realize how different they are. To them, surviving fatal damage is normal. Fighting through crippling pain is expected. How long until they realize that what they consider normal makes them the most powerful species in known space?" The science officer displayed more images. Humans running marathons, working in dangerous mines, surviving in frozen wastelands. To the council, each image looked more horrifying than the last. "We have only one choice," the head counselor declared. "We must strike now, while they're still contained to their home system, before they spread into the gray zones, before they realize their true potential." "You mean war?" a younger council member asked, its translator quivering. "Not war. Extermination." The head counselor's words fell heavy in the frozen air. "We will hit them with everything we have. Our strongest weapons. Our entire fleet. We must eliminate this threat before it's too late." The council voted. The decision was unanimous. Within hours, the Dominion's mighty war fleet began assembling. Ships emerged from hidden bases across their empire, carrying weapons designed to destroy entire planets. Meanwhile, on the space station, Captain Walker sat in the medical bay, his ribs almost healed. He watched the streams of alien ships through his window, not yet knowing they were gathering for humanity's extinction. The doctor checked his bandages one last time. "You're recovering incredibly fast, Captain. Should be back to normal in no time." Walker nodded, still watching the ships. Something didn't feel right. He'd fought in enough battles to recognize preparations for war when he saw them. He just didn't know yet that he was looking at the beginning of humanity's greatest test of survival. The warning came too late. By the time Earth's defense systems detected the Dominion fleet, their ships had already entered the solar system. Captain Walker stood in Earth's main defense command center, watching as thousands of alien vessels appeared on the giant screen. "They're not responding to any communications," reported Lieutenant Adams. Her fingers flew over the control panel. "Sir, they're charging weapons." Walker's newly healed ribs ached as he leaned over the command table. Launch all defense ships. Get our people in the air now. The first shots from the Dominion fleet lit up space like new stars. Their weapons were designed to vaporize their own kind instantly, to prevent suffering. They expected Earth's defenses to melt away in seconds. They were wrong. Earth's ships took heavy damage but didn't explode. Inside them, human crews bled, broke bones, and kept fighting. Walker watched in pride as his people refused to die when the aliens thought they should. "Sir," Adams called out, "the Dominion ships are sending messages to each other. Our translators are picking them up." The alien communications played through the command center. Impossible. Direct hits, but no destruction. They're still moving. How are they not dead? Walker grabbed the command microphone. His voice reached every Earth ship in the battle. "Remember your training. Pain is temporary. Earth is forever. Show them what humans can do." The battle raged for hours. Dominion weapons that should have ended the fight in minutes proved less effective than expected. Their beams could punch holes through human ships, but as long as the crew had air to breathe and some way to move, they kept fighting. Walker coordinated the defense from the command center, ignoring his own exhaustion. He'd been awake for over 30 hours, but that was nothing new for him. In the battle display, he watched human ships, damaged but determined, continue to protect their home. "Sir, look," Adams pointed to a new reading. "Their weapons are overheating. They're using too much power trying to destroy us." Walker smiled grimly. The Dominion had designed their weapons for quick, clean kills. They never planned for an enemy that could take massive damage and keep going. Their ships were burning through energy too fast, trying to achieve the instant kills they were used to. A Dominion cruiser exploded, its weapons systems overloaded. Then another, and another. The alien fleet started pulling back, their carefully planned attack falling apart. "They're retreating." The cheer went up through the command center. But Walker knew better. "No," he said, studying the tactical display. "They're regrouping. This was just their first wave. They're going to come back with something bigger." As if to prove him right, they intercepted a transmission from the Dominion fleet to their homeworld. "Humans survive impossible damage. Standard weapons ineffective. Request planet killer authorization." Walker looked around the command center. His people were tired, injured, but unbowed. Medics treated wounds that would have killed a Dominion soldier, and the injured went right back to their posts. This was humanity's strength. Not better weapons or stronger ships, but the sheer determination to keep going when any other species would have given up. He pressed the broadcast button again. "All personnel, get some rest while you can. Repair what you can, heal what you can. They'll be back, and next time, they won't hold anything back." In space, the Dominion fleet gathered in the shadow of Mars, waiting for their reinforcements. Their commanders watched in disbelief as human ships, still bearing damage from the battle, began patrolling again instead of standing down for repairs. "What are these creatures?" one commander asked. "How do we kill something that refuses to die?" They would soon find out that killing humans and stopping humans were two very different things. The real test was still to come. 3 days after the first attack, the sky turned purple. The Dominion's elite forces had arrived, bringing weapons that could tear apart their own battleships. Captain Walker watched from an underground bunker as the new alien fleet positioned itself around Earth. They'd brought their planet killers, Lieutenant Adams said, her face lit by emergency lights. "Those ships in the front, they're designed to crack worlds apart." Walker nodded, studying the tactical display. The bunker shook as the first shots hit Earth's atmosphere. "Send out the order. Operation Cockroach begins now." They had named the plan after one of Earth's toughest creatures. While the Dominion expected humans to mass their forces for a defensive stand, Walker had different ideas. He split Earth's remaining ships and soldiers into small groups, hiding them around the planet and in space. The alien commander's voice boomed through Earth's communication systems. "Surrender now, humans. These weapons can destroy your continents. You cannot survive." Walker grabbed the microphone. "You still don't understand us, do you? Humans don't survive. We endure." He gave the signal. Across Earth and space, human forces launched their attacks. Not in one massive battle, but in hundreds of small strikes. Ships that the Dominion thought destroyed came back to life. Soldiers they thought dead kept fighting. "Sir," Adams pointed to new readings. "They're elite troops. They're starting to panic." The tactical screen told the story. The Dominion's best warriors, used to quick victories, found themselves in an endless fight. Every time they destroyed a human position, the survivors would regroup and attack again. When they blasted a human ship apart, escape pods would launch, and those crews would hijack Dominion vessels. "They're burning through their ammunition," Walker noted. "Keep our forces moving. Don't let them pin us down." Hours turned into days. The Dominion forces, expecting a short, decisive battle, weren't prepared for extended combat. Their troops needed regular rest in their environmental suits. Their weapons required cooling periods. But humans kept going. Tired, injured, but unstoppable. Walker hadn't slept in 2 days, running on coffee and determination. Around him, his command staff worked through injuries that would have hospitalized any Dominion soldier. "Intercepted communication," Adams reported. "Their troops are refusing orders. They're terrified of us." The message played through the bunker. "They won't die. We hit them with enough force to shatter moons, and they keep fighting. They're not natural. They're not mortal." Walker allowed himself a small smile. The Dominion's greatest weakness was showing. They had never faced an enemy that could match their endurance. Their entire military doctrine was based on quick, overwhelming victories. "Send to all Earth forces," he ordered. "Push harder. Show them what human determination really means." The bunker rocked with another impact. Part of the ceiling collapsed, but the command staff simply moved their equipment and kept working. Through the tactical display, Walker watched as more Dominion ships began to retreat. "Sir," Adams called out, "their elite forces are pulling back. They're saying—" She paused, listening to the translation. "They're saying humans are unkillable demons. That were something from their ancient horror stories. But victory had a price. Half of Earth's cities lay in ruins. Millions were injured. Yet even now, humans were already rebuilding, healing, preparing for the next wave." Walker knew the Dominion would be back, probably with something even worse. "Get me a status report on all our forces," he ordered, "and find me their fleet's weak points. Next time they come back, we hit them first." In orbit, the Dominion's elite forces regrouped, their unshakable confidence broken for the first time in their history. They had thrown their worst at humanity, and humanity had absorbed the punishment and kept coming. Their fleet commander stared at Earth through a view screen, watching as lights from human cities they had just bombed, began to shine again. What does it take, it wondered, to make these humans stay down? The answer, they would soon learn, was more than they could give. The Dominion had brought their entire fleet. 10,000 ships surrounded Earth, their weapons glowing with enough power to shatter planets. Captain Walker stood on the broken bridge of his command ship, blood running down his face from a fresh cut. "All ships are damaged, sir," Lieutenant Adams reported through static. Her own ship was barely holding together. "We can't take much more of this." Walker looked at the tactical display, its screen cracked but still working. The Dominion had finally learned. They weren't trying to destroy Earth's forces quickly anymore. Instead, they were wearing the humans down. Hour by hour, shot by shot. "Captain Walker," the Dominion commander's voice boomed through every working speaker. "We have you surrounded. Your ship is crippled. Surrender, and we will make your death quick." Walker wiped blood from his eyes and pressed the communication button. "You still don't get it, do you? Humans don't surrender just because we're hurt." His ship shuddered as another blast hit it. The hull was breached in 12 places. Life support was failing, but Walker stood firm, his burned hands gripping the command rail. "All ships," he ordered, "execute protocol last stand." Across space, Earth's battered fleet moved. They weren't retreating. Instead, every damaged ship, every injured crew, turned to face the enemy. The Dominion commanders watched in confusion as their supposedly beaten opponents prepared to attack. "Sir," Adams called out, "they're powering up their planet-killer weapons. All of them. They're going to hit us with everything." Walker nodded. "Good. Let them waste their power. All ships, prepare to charge on my mark." The Dominion commander's voice came again, now with a trace of fear. "You cannot survive this. We have enough firepower to destroy a solar system. Stand down. You want to see what humans can really take." Walker's voice was steady despite his injuries. "Then give us your best shot. Show us everything you've got." The space around Earth lit up brighter than the sun as the Dominion fired every weapon they had. Their planet killers, their fleet guns, their elite ship cannons. Everything focused on Walker's position. The combined blast could have cracked a moon in half. For a moment, Earth's sensors went blind from the flash. When they cleared, Walker's ship still floated in space. It was barely recognizable as a spacecraft now, more like a collection of burning metal held together by determination. But on its broken bridge, Walker still stood. His uniform was burned, his skin blistered from the heat that had leaked through the failing shields. He could barely breathe in the thin air. But his voice, when he spoke, was clear and strong. "Our turn." Earth's ships charged forward, straight into the stunned Dominion fleet. The alien soldiers who had just used their most powerful weapons and failed to kill a single human ship began to panic. Their commanders tried to restore order, but fear spread faster than their commands. "The humans are unstoppable." The panic spread through the Dominion ranks. "They should be atomic dust. How are they still fighting?" Walker's ruined ship led the charge, its engines sparking and failing, but somehow still pushing forward. Behind him, every human crew, no matter how injured or damaged their ship, followed his lead. "Sir," Adams reported, her voice filled with pride despite her own injuries, "the Dominion fleet. They're breaking formation. Some ships are running." The mighty alien armada, which had never known defeat in 10,000 years, began to scatter. They had thrown everything they had at humanity, used weapons that could destroy worlds, and still the humans came forward. As Walker watched the Dominion ships flee, he finally allowed himself to slump in his chair. His body felt like one massive bruise, and he was pretty sure several bones were broken. But he was alive. His people were alive, and they had just shown the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. "Send to all ships," he ordered, his voice rough from smoke and pain. "The enemy is retreating. Earth stands. Humanity endures." The message spread across space, a testament to the unbreakable human spirit. The Dominion had brought their full might to crush humanity, and humanity had simply refused to be crushed. In the quiet of her research lab on the Dominion homeworld, Dr. Wren stared at her test results. Around her, other scientists had flowed after the news of the fleet's defeat, but she stayed. She had to understand how humans did it. "Computer, show me the human pain response data again," she ordered. The screen lit up with readings taken during the battles. She had been studying these for days, barely sleeping, looking for the answer that everyone else had missed. Then she saw it. The pattern was so simple that they had all overlooked it. "Get me a communication line to Captain Walker," she said. Her assistants looked at her like she was crazy. "But doctor," one said, "the High Council has forbidden all contact with humans. They're preparing the evacuation of our border worlds." Wren ignored them. She typed rapidly, sending her findings through emergency channels. To her surprise, a response came quickly. On her screen appeared Walker's face, still bruised from the great battle. "Dr. Wren," he said carefully, "you're brave to contact us after what your people tried to do. "Captain, I know why you survived. Why all humans survived." Her translator trembled with excitement. "You're not invincible at all. You're just different." Walker raised an eyebrow. Behind him, Wren could see humans rebuilding their command center, working despite injuries that would have killed her kind. "Your pain response," she explained, pointing to her data. "When we get hurt, our bodies shut down to prevent further damage. It's automatic. We can't fight it. But humans—" She paused, still amazed by what she had discovered. "Humans can choose to ignore pain. You can keep going even when your bodies scream at you to stop." "That's not exactly a secret, Doctor," Walker said. "Every human knows about pushing through pain. But you don't understand what this means." Wren's translator could barely keep up with her excitement. "Your bodies aren't stronger than ours. Your weapons aren't better. You just refuse to stop. It's not about being invincible. It's about being unstoppable." She sent him her research data. "Look at these readings. Your soldiers kept fighting with broken bones, torn muscles, severe burns, not because you couldn't feel the pain, but because you chose to continue despite it. My people thought you were monsters, but you're not. You're just incredibly stubborn." Walker looked at her data, then smiled slightly. "Doctor, every human child who skinned their knee and kept playing knows this. Why is it such a surprise to your people?" "Because it's impossible." Wren waved her arms in frustration. "No species should be able to override their own survival instincts like that. Pain exists to protect us from harm, to push through it, to choose to keep going when nature itself tells you to stop. It's like you've evolved beyond your own limitations." She watched as a human worker behind Walker lifted heavy debris, despite having a bandaged arm. "Your greatest power isn't that you can't be killed. It's that you refuse to quit even when you should. Do you understand what you could teach us?" Walker's expression changed as he realized what she was suggesting. "You want to learn from us, even after the war." "The war happened because we feared what we didn't understand," Wren said. "We thought you were invincible monsters. But you're not monsters at all. You're just incredibly determined. And determination can be taught." She took a deep breath. "Captain Walker, I want to propose a peace treaty. Not based on fear, but on understanding. Your people could help us learn to push our own limits, and we could share our technology, help you rebuild." Walker looked thoughtful. "The Council won't like this. The Council is hiding in bunkers because they think unstoppable demons are coming to destroy us," Wren said. "Help me show them the truth. Show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't your ability to survive damage, but your unwillingness to give up. Maybe that's something we all need to learn." For the first time since the war began, Walker's smile reached his eyes. "Dr. Wren, I think this could be the beginning of a very interesting partnership." 1 year after the Great Battle, Captain Walker stood in the Dominion High Council chamber. The room was no longer kept at freezing temperatures. Instead, it was set to a compromise that both species could handle. Like many things between humans and the Dominion, they had found middle ground. "The human training program has shown remarkable results," Dr. Wren reported to the council. She stood beside Walker, no longer wearing a full environmental suit. "The Dominion had learned that they could adapt to more than they thought possible. Our soldiers who trained with humans have expanded their endurance by 400%. The head counselor, one of the few who had survived the war's political aftermath, nodded slowly. "And the human recovery efforts?" Walker stepped forward. "With Dominion technology helping us rebuild, Earth's cities are almost restored. But more importantly, we've helped establish the first joint colonies in the gray zones, areas where neither of us could thrive alone." The chamber's screen showed images of these new colonies. Humans worked alongside Dominion species, each helping the other overcome their natural limitations. Human endurance combined with Dominion technology had opened up whole regions of space that neither species could have settled alone. "A year ago," Walker continued, "we thought we were about to be destroyed. You thought we were unstoppable monsters. We were both wrong. What we really were was incomplete, each species having something the other needed. Dr. Wren activated another display, showing training sessions where Dominion soldiers learned from humans how to push past their initial pain responses. Beside it, humans learned from Dominion teachers how to use their advanced environmental systems. "The war nearly destroyed both our peoples," she said, "but what we learned from it has made us stronger than ever. Humans taught us that limitations can be overcome. We taught them that not every obstacle needs to be powered through." The head counselor rose from its seat. "Captain Walker, when we first met, we saw your kind as an evolutionary accident that had to be eliminated. We were fools. Your species' greatest gift wasn't your physical endurance. It was your ability to show others how to endure." Walker smiled, touching the new medal on his chest, a joint award from both Earth and the Dominion. "And your people taught us that sometimes the smartest path isn't forcing our way through every obstacle. Sometimes it's finding a better way around it." "Which brings us to today's vote," the head counselor announced. "The motion to create a permanent position on this council for a human representative. Captain Walker, we believe you have demonstrated the qualities needed for this role." The chamber erupted in sounds of approval, both the quiet chimes of Dominion agreement and the louder human applause from the Earth delegates. Walker looked at Dr. Wren, who nodded encouragingly. "I accept," he said, "on one condition: that Dr. Wren continues her work, teaching both our peoples how to learn from each other. The war showed us what happens when we let fear drive us. Let's see what happens when we let understanding guide us instead." The vote was unanimous. As Walker took his place on the council, he saw humans and Dominion species working together throughout the chamber. Where once there had been fear and misunderstanding, now there was cooperation and growth. A young Dominion aide approached him, walking with a determination that would have been impossible a year ago. "Sir, the first joint exploration fleet is ready for your inspection. Humans and Dominion crews working together to push into deep space." Walker nodded, remembering how far they had come from those first terrifying days of war. "Send them a message from the council," he said. "The strength of humanity isn't that we can't be killed. It's that we never stop trying. And now, thanks to our new friends, we never have to try alone." Above the chamber, Earth and Dominion ships patrolled together, a symbol of how far both species had come. They had learned that true strength wasn't in being unstoppable or invincible. It was in helping others find their own strength and moving forward together.